Kingdom family, what's up? My name is Taylor and I want to welcome you to our virtual midweek Bible study. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. Here at Kingdom, we are a ministry that focuses on building God's kingdom on earth, one encounter at a time. For those of you who are wondering how you can stay connected, I want to invite you to worship with us. We are back in the building, so if you feel comfortable, meet us at 234 Norfolk Street, Dorchester, Mass. 02124, every Sunday at 9:30 a.m., or you can worship with us virtually every Wednesday night, like you're doing tonight, for our weekly Bible studies, which are held via Facebook and YouTube. There's a lot that's happening here at Kingdom, and I don't want you to miss it. We want you to be a part. So here are your monthly announcements.
Been through the storm, been through the pain. Ever since you came in, nothing's been the same. Changed my life and made me new. I'm so glad you gave me the victory. I never gonna hurt again. I know that I have found a friend. Never leave nor forsake me.
We want you, yes you, and we need you to be a part. So make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms, or you can email us with any questions or concerns. The theme for this year is Kingdom Building, which is when we prioritize development of God's people and His kingdom. Do me a favor, you know what I'm going to ask? Share this broadcast with someone that you know, with a family member or a friend. And let's prepare our hearts and our minds for prayer. Kingdom family, what's up? Hey everyone. I see a couple people are already joined in. We have Sister Deborah, we have Sister Letitia, Elder Tyra, Sister Jaquetta. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We are starting a new series. This year we're talking about building the kingdom of God, kingdom building, and this month our focus is building wealth, building our wealth. So tonight I'm super excited. This month I'm super excited to be facilitating our Bible study sessions, where we will be focusing on building kingdom wealth. And that's when we're focusing on being good stewards and managing the resources that God has blessed us with. Good evening, Minister Georgette, Elder Georgette, Sister Melissa. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes, we want to share this broadcast. Share this broadcast. Share the link. Send a text. Tell somebody to get on here. I can't see how many people are on here, but we got to get the numbers up. We got to get the numbers up. So as you guys are sharing, I'm just going to jump right into our Bible study session. We're not going to waste any time tonight. We're going to get started. Good evening, Sister Joy. Perfect. So I'm glad that you guys have all decided to join us tonight. So let's get started. So tonight's first session is about financial foundation and building a financial foundation. So as I was studying, preparing for our Bible study tonight, I was doing some research and I found this article that was talking about poverty. And just a quick heads up, this is going to be real different than what you all have seen in previous weeks. We're really focusing on just kind of digging into the meat of this. So, like I said, I was doing some research and I found an article that talked about poverty. And in this article, it stated that poverty is not a condition that concerns only a lack of money and resources. It's not just about a lack of money and resources, but poverty is multidimensional. And what does that mean? People suffering from poverty are deprived of resources, they're deprived of opportunities as well as income. So it goes on to say in that article that the worst type of poverty is found when there is a lack of education or understanding. So, how many of you all, I want this to be as interactive as possible. How many of you all were taught about money growing up? How many heard about it in your homes, heard about it at school? Someone taught you how to budget, they taught you how to manage your money. Say something in the chat if somebody taught you how to do that. Say something in the chat. Money, it's not talked about as much as it should be. I know for me, I can speak for myself. Financial literacy wasn't something that was taught to me at home. It wasn't something that was taught to me at work. It wasn't something that was taught. Well, now it is. It is now, but it wasn't taught to me at school. That's not something that I learned about growing up. It wasn't until I had my own I made poor financial decisions myself. That's when I had to make the decision, okay, well, I'm not going to keep living my life like this. I have to make the decision to do better, right? So okay, I see a couple of you guys saying some people, you guys did hear about it in school. You heard about it growing up. You guys were blessed and you had that luxury, but some of us didn't. We hadn't heard about financial education. Financial literacy wasn't something that was talked about in our homes. So that's okay. If it wasn't something that was taught to you, that's okay. You can start tonight. You can start today to change your financial future. It's that important. It's never too late to change your financial trajectory of your life. So, like I said, for me, speaking for myself, financial literacy wasn't something that I was taught at school or something that I was taught at home. So it wasn't until I went off to college that I realized the importance of money and the importance of managing money. While I was in college, I was just blowing through all of my money. Or well, not my money, but my parents' money because I didn't have a job at the time. So I was blowing through money, didn't know how to manage. As soon as I got money, I was spending it. It was going right out the door. And I want to be completely 100% transparent tonight on this call because I feel like, or in this session or this live, because I feel like transparency is what heals. Transparency helps. So I have the mic, I have the floor. So I'm going to talk about my business tonight. You guys don't have to share yours, but I'll talk about mine for the sake of everyone else. So when I was in college, I lived off campus. I lived off campus my junior and my senior year. And I was working a work study job as well as going to school, as well as working a retail job at Kids Foot Locker to pay my bills. And that still wasn't enough to pay my bills. So I was doing all of that, breaking my back to kind of have money in my pockets. And I had this big apartment. Well, it wasn't that big. It was big to me because I didn't have any furniture in it. I didn't have any furniture in it. My living room was one big open space. I would have my friends come over. We would just be sitting on the ground, on the floor, on the carpet, hanging out and having a good time. It was cool in college because we were all broke. So, it didn't make much of a difference to me. But I had this apartment. It was only big because there was no furniture in it. All I had was a bedroom. I had bedroom furniture, but that's it. So I had this big apartment, no furniture in it. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was like the way of life as a college student. Spending money, what I was doing, I was spending money that, I did not necessarily have, spending it on unnecessary things that I know I could live without, and mismanaging my money and not using it on the necessities. So I really, after I just put myself out there, I really want to kickstart this Bible study series with this financial foundation. We're going to discuss determining what a financial foundation is and what we need to do in order to build a solid financial foundation. So building a financial foundation, a solid one, it's a process. It's a process. Somebody type in the chat, it's a process. It's a process. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. I wish it did. I honestly wish that it did, but it's not. So, building a financial foundation is extremely, extremely important. It's something that we all must live by. We all must live by. So, please do not think that after tonight, you're going to have this whole financial foundation thing figured out. Do not think that you're going to have your financial foundation established after this call tonight. It's not going to happen that way. It's a process. It's going to take time. But after tonight, you will have the tools necessary to start building. You will have the tools necessary to start building. All right. So you guys ready? Let's get started. I don't know why I keep saying that because we've already started, but anyways. What is a financial foundation? What is a financial foundation? Anybody, just drop it in the chat. As you guys are throwing in your thoughts and on what a financial foundation is, I'll give my definition. Your financial foundation is a set of habits and practices that create lasting financial security and stability you need to live the life that you want. A financial foundation is a routine or a set of habits or practices that create lasting financial security and stability that you need in order to live the life that you want. Why is having this financial foundation important? Why is it important to have a solid financial foundation? I just said it. Establishing that solid financial foundation is important because it does two things. It provides what? Security and stability. Security and stability. Without a solid financial foundation, most people will, sorry about the dog, most people will be struggling financially. They could be making money, but the amount of money that they're making is less than their expenses. So it's not just about making money, but it's also about managing your expenses and making sure that they balance out, making sure that your income is well over the expenses that you have for the month or for your life. So, how can we build this solid financial foundation for ourselves and our family? What's one way we can build? One way that we can build this solid foundation is by creating a budget. I believe that this is the most important step to building a solid foundation, creating that budget. I'm going to stop here. How many of you all have a budget? You guys have a budget plan, whether that's a monthly budget, a weekly budget, whatever it is. How many of you all are living by a budget? Let me see. Anybody living by a budget or living with a budget? Sister Edna. Yes, yes. Sister Edna, we need to get you on some of these on some of these. I don't know why I keep calling it calls. I've been at work all day. On some of these sessions as well. I've tried but failed. That's good. Thank you for your honesty and your transparency. Okay, we have some people that are budgeting. That's great. I'm trying. That's important. As long as you're trying, that's important. You're trying. Living on a budget is so important. It's so key. It's so key. And it makes life so much easier. But it's hard. If we're being completely honest, it's hard. So the most important step to building a solid financial foundation is creating that budget. And what is a budget? A budget is the plan that you create to determine how you will spend your money for the month, for the week, whatever that time frame is for you. A budget is a way for you to track your expenses and your income each month. So, like we said, the most important step is creating the budget. But the next most important step to building a solid foundation for ourselves and our family is being consistent with our budget. And this is the difficult step. This is the difficult part. It's hard. It's hard being consistent with your budget because things happen. If we're being completely honest with ourselves, things happen. So this is one of the most important steps. If you cannot be consistent, everything else you do to create that budget is ultimately null and void. It makes no sense for you to even waste your time creating the budget if you're not even going to use it consistently. It just wastes everybody's time. So I think this is an important step because it's necessary. There's a saying that we all know. It's easier said than done. And that is true. That is true when it comes to budgeting. It's easier said than done. It's easier for us to actually say we're going to budget than actually be consistent with actually budgeting. So it's easy to say that you will save, but once it's time to put that money in your savings account, your car wants to start acting up. Isn't it funny? Isn't it ironic that every time you try to do something right with your money, your car acting up, all of a sudden your kids need some clothes, all of a sudden you need some work done to your house, something always happens that messes you up. It's hard. It's difficult. It's really difficult trying to remain consistent with your budget. But like someone said, I'm trying. That's the main piece. We have to try. We have to try. Okay, so we just figured out the two most important steps to building a solid financial foundation, and that's creating the budget and being consistent. And in that process, there's a couple of steps as well that we need to take. Step one, I want to challenge each and every one of you guys. If you are in your room, your car, or wherever you are, if you can find a pen and paper or use your notes on your phone, something. Step one, we must identify our financial goals. We must identify our financial goals. So I'm going to challenge each and every one of you guys that's on this call, on this live tonight. I want you to write down 3 financial goals that you have set for either this week, this month, or this year. 3 financial goals. If that's saving $1,000, if that's paying off your car note, if that's putting money towards student loan debt, whatever that is, write down 3 financial goals for yourself. And you can even go one step further by once you've determined those financial goals, setting a target date. Setting a target date. Holding yourself accountable and saying, by this date, I'm going to have my car loan paid off. By this date, I'm going to have my student loans paid down to this amount. By this date, I'm going to have this amount of money in my savings account. Whatever it is, be intentional and be strategic with your financial goals. So as we are going through this session, keep those goals in mind. and determine how you can use these next few steps from our session to achieve the financial goals that you've set for yourselves. And I want to make myself available to you all as well. So feel free to reach out to me separately offline, and we can work on coming up with a strategy together to help you achieve those goals as well. It's nothing like having an accountability partner. So it's important. If you have financial goals that you want to achieve and you just need a little push or some assistance, reach out to me. Every time you try to get ahead, there's always something or someone setting you back. Exactly. Remaining consistent with this budgeting is difficult, but we're going to do it. Somebody type in the chat, I'm going to be consistent. We just got to start speaking these things. I'm going to be consistent. Cool. So once you have your financial goals in mind, whether you wrote them down on a piece of paper or they're in your phone, once you have those, keep them in mind as we go through these next few points. So first thing is to write down your financial goals. And the second piece is to basically start creating that budget that we were just talking about. And how do you do that? You have to write everything out. List all of your income, list all of your expenses. If you have more than one job, if you have more than one stream of income, write all of that out. Write all of your expenses out. Put one column expenses, one column income. And as you're doing that, your financial foundation is directly tied to the amount of money that you have coming in, the amount of income you are currently bringing in. And I believe, as people of God or people just in general, it is important for us to have multiple streams of income. And I know you're probably asking, okay, well, where does it say that in the Bible, or why, how can you justify multiple streams of income? Well, the Bible says in Ecclesiastes 11:2, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Ecclesiastes 11:2. So a lot of times when we talk about income, streams of income, investing in your money into different things, people are a little leery of that type of stuff. They're hesitant when it comes to investing their money in certain places, because they feel as though that it's uncertain. It might be too risky. But honestly, I'd like to argue that living off of only one stream of income is risky. How many of you guys agree with that? I'd rather put my money in multiple areas and one of those areas fails than leaving it all in one area and that area fell. Because what's going to happen if you only have one stream of income and that stream of income goes away? What's going to happen? You are going to be out of luck. You're going to be out of luck. You're going to be so down bad, it's not even funny. You're going to be in a real tight spot. So for those of you that's on this live, I really want to challenge you all to find another stream of income for yourself and your family. Whether you get a second job, whether you start driving Uber, whether you start doing DoorDash. There's so many. I know people are like, well, how am I going to find another stream of income? I can't do another job because I already work 40 hours for this job. I can't do this. I can't do that. No, you can do it. You just have to sacrifice. You can do it. You just got to want it bad enough. So whatever it may be, find that stream of income and make it work. Why? Because living off of one stream is too risky. It's too risky. Find a stream and swim in it. That's good. Find a stream and swim in it. Streams are what? It's a continuous flow of water. Continuous. For the next 6 months, this is good to me because I'm going to challenge myself. For the next 6 months, we are going to focus on finding our streams of income, a continuous flow of income. And what are we going to do? We're going to swim in them. Find your stream of income and swim in it. Somebody say we're swimming. We're swimming this year. We're swimming this year. I'm excited. I'm excited because no longer will we struggle financially. We are receiving the tools that we need. We are receiving the education that we need. And we're going to go a step further by doing our own research. We are swimming in a continuous flow of income. I'm receiving that for myself. Y'all can take it if y'all want, but I'm receiving that for myself. We are swimming in it. Okay, let's move on. So our financial foundation starts with our income, and with income comes what? Expenses. And an expense is the cost, a cost for something. Expenses can include, but are not limited to your rent, your mortgage, your phone bills, car notes, and the list goes on and on. Expenses are expensive. It really is important for you to determine your monthly income, determine those streams of income, and then determine your monthly expenses and make sure that the income exceeds your expenses. You never ever ever want your expenses to exceed your income, because then you're stuck. You're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul to pay all these expenses, and you don't even have the money for it. So it's important that your income exceeds your expenses. All right, so step one, we identified our financial goals. Step two, we're going to write out everything. We're going to write out and list our income and our expenses and make sure that our income exceeds our expenses. And step three, we're going to give everything a reason. We're going to give every expense a reason. Doing this will help you to determine what is important and what is not important. What is a need versus what is a want. So what is a need? A need is something that you absolutely cannot live without. You need this to survive. You need this to live. A want is something that you can live without. It's a luxury. If you don't have it, it's okay. You won't die. An example of a need could be food, clothes, water, etc. An example of a want could be a luxury car or a new pair of designer shoes or dinner at a fancy restaurant. And I know you guys probably say, well, I need a car to get around, or I need shoes to walk outside, or I need food. Yeah, you do need all of these things, but you don't need to be eating at Ruth Chris every weekend, or you don't need to have on your favorite designer shoes, or you don't need to be driving around in a Mercedes Benz, especially with the way the gas is right now. Trust me, I have been considering getting a bike because the amount of times I put gas in my car is absolutely ridiculous. So give everything a reason. Determine what is a need versus a want, and determine what is important and what is not as important. When creating your financial foundation or your budget, it is important that you look for opportunities to cut back on unnecessary expenses, especially when you can't, or if you can't, increase your income. The only way to satisfy the wants in your life is to create another stream of income or increase the income that you already have. Do not ever buy something, do something just because you want to do it and you don't have the money to do it. I think that's just like such a simple concept that we all have messed up. I'm raising my hand myself. I know I've messed up with that one. When building a solid foundation, we must prioritize. There's two things that we have to do. We have to prioritize and we have to sacrifice. When we need to figure out, what is most important to our lives at the moment. Everyone's level of importance is different, but the idea of delaying self-gratification remains the same. Some things you have to take care of right away, but some things they can wait. So there's two things that we have to do when we're building our financial foundation. We must sacrifice and understand the importance of sacrifice, and we must prioritize. We have to prioritize. So step 1, we wrote out our financial goals. Step 2, we list out our income and expenses to make sure that our income exceeds our expenses. Step 3, we're giving every expense a reason. Step 4, we are staying consistent. Last but not least, we are staying consistent. We already learned earlier in this live that this is the most important part of the process. Everything before this step will be null and void if we are not consistent. I really want to drill that into our heads. Consistency is key. Somebody write that in the chat. Consistency is key. I hope you guys can still see me because it's frozen on my end. Let me see. Let me just make sure. TC, I'm good. Consistency is key. Cool. No credit card. This is okay. Cool. I'm good. Consistency is key. So if we can create a routine that we can stick to, or if we can't create a routine that we can stick to, then there's really no point in creating the budget. In order to build a solid foundation, we must have a greater understanding of those two things that we just discussed: discipline and sacrifice, or prioritizing and sacrifice. One of my favorite sayings is do what you can now so that you can do what you want later. Do what you can now so that you can do what you want later. This is why staying consistent with our budget is difficult. We haven't disciplined ourselves. We have trouble prioritizing when it comes to spending money. We lack the ability to prioritize the most important things in our lives, and we don't want to sacrifice certain things because we believe that it will make us look a certain way. I really think that's the strangest thing. And I'm not just talking about other people. I'm talking about myself too, because I've dealt with this too. I'm sorry, but you will never, ever see me driving a car that I cannot afford, wearing clothes that I really cannot afford, doing things, going on trips, taking vacations that I really cannot afford. You will never see me doing that. But it's a mindset thing. I had to get there. I had to get there because I always felt like, oh, it's money, it'll come back. Yeah, it'll come back, but you have to make the right financial decisions. We want to look like something that we're not, to prove ourselves to people who, if we're being completely honest, truly do not matter and truly do not care. Many of them, they're not gonna sleep better at night knowing that we are driving the latest Mercedes Benz, or we had the latest clothes on, the designer on. It's not gonna help them sleep better at night. And I'm not saying that we should not have the finer things of life, or we can't dress nicely, or we can't drive nicely. I'm just saying it's not wise to have these expensive things if we cannot truly afford it. Ultimately, the main goal for tonight's session, I just want us to get to the point in our lives where we can say we're going to do what we can with what we have now, so that we don't have to, so that we can do what we want later. We want to do what we can with what we have now so that we can do what we want later. So in order to make these financial decisions, better financial decisions for ourselves, but not only ourselves, but also our families, we must understand how to sacrifice and become disciplined individuals. So we had 4 steps tonight. Let's start from here. How to build a solid financial foundation, creating that budget and remaining consistent with that budget. Then there's 4 steps to creating a solid financial foundation: identifying your financial goals, writing out and listing your income and expenses, and making sure that your income exceeds your expenses, giving every expense that we have a reason, and determining the importance of each expense and what is a need versus what is a want. And then lastly, staying consistent. Staying consistent, because honestly, if we're not going to be consistent, everything that we just learned, all the steps before, they don't matter. They don't matter. So I want to leave you guys with 3 financial affirmations. 3 financial affirmations. The first one, I will have multiple streams of income. If you didn't learn anything else tonight, you learned that it's important to have multiple streams of income. And to support that financial affirmation, we're going to focus on Ecclesiastes 11:2. But divide your investments among many places, for you do not know what risks might lie ahead. I will have multiple streams of income. Write that in the chat. Financial affirmation number 2. I will focus on building a solid financial foundation, and I will remain consistent. I will build a financial foundation, and I will remain consistent. And we're going to use Proverbs 21:5 to support that. Proverbs 21:5. Good planning and hard work leads to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. And last but not least, our third financial affirmation. Building wealth is a process, but I will work hard in order to receive it. Building wealth is a process, but I will work hard in order to receive it. And we're going to use Proverbs 13:11. Proverbs 13:11. Say it again, please. Number 2. Number 2, I will build a solid financial foundation and remain consistent. I will build a solid financial foundation and remain consistent. Financial affirmation number 3. Building wealth is a process, but I will work hard in order to receive it. Building wealth is a process, but I will work hard in order to receive it. And we're going to use Proverbs 13:11. Proverbs 13:11. Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappear, but wealth from hard work grows over time. So this is our month. This is our month for building wealth. Building wealth. I truly believe that in order to reap, you must sow. So this month, I personally am going to be sowing a sacrificial seed, something that I can't even believe that I'm going to sow it, but I am. It's scary to even think about. Me, like, am I crazy for sowing this amount of money? But I'm going to sow it because I believe that there will be a shift that's getting ready to take place in my financial foundation, in my life financially. And in order to receive that, I believe that I need to sow into it. So if you want to join me, if you all want to join me, sow that sacrificial seed this month. I'm not going to tell you what I'm sowing. You don't have to tell me what you're sowing, but sow into this not this teaching, but sow into this month of building wealth. We want to have multiple streams of income. We're going to find these streams and we're going to swim in them. That's the word for the week. Find the stream and swim in it. That's the word for the week. So I pray that you all were blessed by the teaching tonight. Let me look in the comment sections. Just what the doctor ordered. Yep. So I pray you all were blessed by the word. God doesn't desire, at least I believe that he doesn't desire for his people to struggle, his children to struggle and live in poverty, even though some of us have gone through that, might go through that. But we must not lose the faith. We must be strong and we must create this financial foundation. As a body of believers, we are coming together to change our mindsets. It's a mindset thing. We're changing our mindsets when it comes to our finances. We are not only hearers of the word, but we are also doers. So I challenge you all to take the first step and create that financial foundation. Everything that you heard tonight, utilize it. If you need some help, reach out to me. I'll try my best to help, the best that I can. But I've gotten to a place in my life where I've been a good steward over what God has given me. Managing my money, managing my resources, giving, tithing. That we're going to talk about giving. Next week we're talking about giving. We're going to talk about tithing and the importance of giving, the principles of giving, the importance of tithing. I know a lot of times we just say, oh, it's time to give. It's time to give your 10%. You have to just give your 10%. But there's so much more that we need to understand when it comes to tithing. So I'm excited to be kind of digging deeper into that. So like I said, everything that you heard tonight, take the first step, create that financial foundation. If you need help, reach out to me. If you don't do it for yourself, at least do it for your family. If you don't do it for yourself, at least do it for your family. So next week, we're talking about the principles of giving. These sessions are going to really help us all become better stewards of the resources that God has given to us. So before I get off this live, just want to say thank you to all of you who have joined in. I really hope that you received something from it. I was blessed by this as well as I was studying, and it has challenged me to just go deeper when it comes to building that financial foundation. Um, Before I get off the live, I do want to offer salvation for those of you who might be on the line who might be desiring to have a closer relationship with Christ. I never want to end anything without offering that up to you all. If that's you, I want you to reach out to us at info@thekingdomchurch.com. You can send an email letting us know who you are, what you desire, if it's prayer, if it's salvation, whatever it is. Please reach out to us so that we can help you grow in your personal relationship with Christ. And as you reach out, as you email us, we'll make sure to have someone contact you and connect with you and walk you through the process of salvation or pray with you, whatever it is that you need. We're going to make sure that we are there to support you all. All right. Thank you so much for joining the call. Why do I keep calling it a call? Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. Come back next week. Share this live. Comment, like, do whatever you need to do. Make sure you send this and share this with a friend. I cannot wait for next week. I cannot wait for the next few weeks. Also, bring somebody to church on Sunday. Bring somebody to church on Sunday. Just one person. If all of us just brought one person, we would have a good time. I can't wait to see you guys on Sunday. I'm excited about what we're doing here at Kingdom, and I think it's going to be great. We are building the kingdom of God one encounter at a time. Love you guys, and see you on Sunday.